Hey guys, welcome to the first lesson of self-awareness, lesson 01. And today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what you're going to be gaining from this lesson. I'm going to be telling you the basis of forming habits, how you can form habits, how you can implement good habits, and how you can turn that into a plan of action that you'll be able to apply each and every single day. But I want to tell you what self-awareness is, how you can become more self-aware. Some of us just aren't really aware of our situations, maybe even our relationships. Are they beneficial? Are they abusive? Because we're not aware of them, we're not always judging them correctly. And what I want to give you guys is the basis of becoming self-aware so you can go throughout your life positive, empowered, enlightening, being able to give something, being able to bring value because you know your value. You can't bring something you don't know. One of the things is they always talk about why eat at the table if you can't bring something to it. I don't want you guys to be at that table and have nothing to give. And the reason you don't have anything to give is because you don't know what you have internally. Everyone has a gift. Everyone can express that gift, but the majority of us don't even know we have one. So in order for us to express the God-given gift, the abilities that are in us, we have to be aware of them. And it starts with becoming self-aware. When I was a younger kid, I wasn't self-aware. I did whatever I wanted. I followed my desires. All I wanted to do was party, hang out with girls. That's all I wanted to do. That was my lifestyle. I remember when I was 16, I got my first car. My dad and my mom bought me a car. I was so excited, and I'm still excited. I have the same car today. The first thing I did was I picked up my girlfriend and we just drove around. And I remember driving that car down to New York City once. The first time driving it to New York, I live in Connecticut, 45-minute drive, and it was dark out. So I was driving in the nighttime, the lights were shining at me, and I thought I was going to crash the car. See, I was just a hungry kid ready for adventure, and I was willing to do whatever I could to explore, to grow, to push myself, to expand the limits. And so the first thing I did was I got that car and I would just go as far as I could with it. First time driving in the night, who cared? First time going to New York, who cared? And whatever I could do, I would grow and I would expand it. You see, I was testing the borders of my awareness. I was still young, so I was developing. I didn't know myself, but I wanted to. So I had to do things that put me in a situation to test my awareness. I would always take chances. I would always take action. I would always take risks. Because in order for me to do this, I was growing. So a lot of you guys are looking at, why do kids do the craziest things? Well, because they're just growing. They're testing their awareness. They're pushing their limitations. They're telling themselves what is possible. Now, I know a lot of kids who've been sheltered, like good buddies of mine, aren't able to do those things so easily. I go to New York all the time. I drive 4 hours, 5 hours. I even drove to Florida one day. Just because I can test those boundaries. I'm not concerned about how far I can go because I'm always trying to go further. Some of them, my good buddies, can't go to New York. They don't know how to drive to the city. They're my age. They can't drive there. They can't drive there. They've never tested these boundaries. They've never taken that action. They never tested that limit. I used to have a radio show, and I would do this talk show for an hour long, basically each week. It was called Breaking Boundaries. And every time I would talk, I would always talk about the latest trends, what was going on. I would confront the issue. So say there's a political situation going on that's wrong. I would talk about it, and I would give my opinion without fear because I wanted to test it. I wanted to push it. I wanted to always find the next level, the next step, the next challenge to overcome. That's why I'm always staying in this awesome awareness. I'm always aware of what I can do because of what I was able to do. This morning I jumped into the tub at about 54 degrees. It was a cold bath. And just to wake myself up, I hopped in it. Freeze, my heart was beating extremely fast. But this is a habit that I'm starting to form even now because Tony Robbins does this. It's called a cold plunge. It wakes you up, it gets your senses ready for the day. So that's what I'm going to be doing every single morning for a while is I'm going to hop into a cold bath. I'm going to wake up at 3:45, hop into a cold bath, work out, and just get ready for the day. See, some of us are limiting ourselves because of what we only did yesterday. If I was to do the same thing every single day and not push the limits, I wouldn't grow. Every day I find a new challenge to overcome, a new obstacle to complete, because I want to grow in awareness. I want to see what's possible. Today I ran up the hill, up a mountain in Weston, Connecticut, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes from where I'm at. Big hill. On top of the hill, you can see the clouds. I felt like I could touch the clouds, so I ran up all the way to the hill, and I got some pretty cool pictures up there. But I did it because I wanted to push myself. See, what I need you guys to do is get into the habit of pushing yourself daily, pushing the limits, breaking the boundaries, and seeing what you're able to do. But you can't do that if you're going to be doing the same thing and if you're not aware of what you're doing. Come on, guys, you gotta be aware of the fact that you're caught up in the daily routine. The 9 to 5 work schedule is great, but if you're not pushing yourself from 6 to 7, then there's no point. You have to challenge the norm. You have to test the status quo. You have to do something that's bold, that's going to shock the norm, to shock people's minds. Started making podcasts talking about the love of Christ. When I first started talking about Jesus, I shocked some people. I was nervous. Could I do this? Should I talk about faith? I did it. The next day it wasn't so hard. The next day it wasn't hard either. So I kept doing it. Now I can do it all the time. You see, you gotta just test the limits. You gotta push yourself. The other day I was down in Philadelphia grabbing some footage. The first time I went down there, I was taking it easily. I was by a river, and I didn't go into the river to grab footage. I saw some bends that I could have hopped on and could have grabbed some awesome footage, but I didn't do it. The second time I went back, which was about 2 days ago, and this time I was able to hop onto the bends. I was able to kind of jump into the water, so to speak, just to push my limitation to grab some really cool content, but to push my awareness as well. I need you guys to be more self-aware by pushing the boundaries of limitation that you've set for yourself. Maybe even the limitations others have set for you. Some people have told you, they said, oh, you're not going to make it past this. You're good right now, and you're good where you are. See, my little brother, he does rowing. He's a rower. He pushes that boat, man, like a king. So this is what he does. He beats his record. He beats his own personal record. But the coach says, look, man, good luck with doing that. Coach says, I don't think you're going to do it, to be honest, but good luck. It's good to have big dreams, right? Coach tells him that. My little brother beats his own record, impresses the coach. Coach's like, oh, wow, that's impressive. Yeah, you shouldn't have doubted his ability to begin with. You know, because he's going to prove you wrong, number one, and then he's the best one on the team. I know that for sure, regardless of what anyone else may think. But it's because he's pushing his awareness. My little brother's taking chances. He's trying to see what he can do. He's stepping it up. He's 16 years old. He's a kid. He's a little kid, but he's doing this, right? So you guys can do this too. You guys have this ability. Remember this. This is how you test and grow. Now, I can't wait to talk to you more. I want to get into discovering your character in a later lesson. But for now, I still want to give you habits. I want to talk to you about forming that habit of taking a chance, the habit of taking action, the habit of pushing yourself, the habit of living on the edge. These are habits that you can form into your life. Just like you form the habit of fear, the habit of worry, the habit of doubt, you can also form the habit of possibilities, the habit of faith, the habit of trust, the habit of pushing past your limitations. These are the habits that I form on a daily basis. If I'm not pushing what I know to be easy, then I'm not growing. And I'm addicted to it. I'm honestly addicted to pushing past the limitation. By all means. Even if it means doing something extremely crazy, I'll do it. But I have to do this every day, or else it's no longer a habit. That's why I want to talk to you about forming habits. It takes about 21 days to form a habit. Now, I'm going to give you guys the basic tools to do it on your own. I don't want you to have to watch me for 21 days. I want you to have the tools in order to do this by yourself. See, a real leader makes leaders. Doesn't make them dependent. I don't want you to be dependent upon me. That's why these lessons are only for 6 months. Okay, after 6 months, you should have gained enough information to go out and conquer the world. But if you don't, you can always come back. I don't need you to be dependent. I need you to be independent so you can go out and make more independent kings and queens who are able to do amazing things. So this is what I'm going to get into. I'll leave you with some of those amazing habits, plans of action, tools that will help you grow, build, and develop. But for now, I want to get back to you, give you some more time to think about it, maybe write down, actually, if you have a pen, take it out. If you have a piece of paper, get that one out too, because right now I want you guys to write down, what habits do you want to form? Do you want to build your faith? Do you want to take more action? Do you want to do more? What are the habits that you want to get into? Do you want to socialize more? Do you want to build relationships? What good habits do you want to develop? It could be anything. I want to get up at 3 o'clock. I want to do jogs every morning. What are the habits? So write those things down underneath habits under your piece of paper and just bullet point them. Jot them down and look at that list. Because if you can discover what habits you want to form, I guarantee you'll start to put yourself in the right situations to establish them sincerely and devoutly. I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to do this and some tips to be successful at these habits. Alright guys, so right now I want to give you guys some hints, tips, and techniques to building a new habit. A lot of the time we form habits, but I want to be honest with you, they're not good. It's not a good habit to watch TV every single day for 30, 40, 50 minutes in a row. Okay, unless you're getting content that's empowering you, benefiting you. But if you're just watching the news or the football game, I'm going to be honest, a little bit too much of that is not going to produce good results in your life. Unless the content is empowering you, giving you wisdom, giving you knowledge, and giving you the tools to really succeed. But if it's not, you got to get rid of it. You got to push the TV away. A lot of you guys are like, Matt, come on, I can't miss the game. I get it. My dad loves watching football. I'll watch it with him every now and then, but I can't get caught up for 2 hours in a football game. There's a lot of work to do. It takes up time. Time is your greatest asset. Remember this. So I need you guys to figure out what habits you're going to form. Now, I know you probably just wrote on your piece of paper the habits you want to form. Great. You have them. You want to get up early. You want to go to sleep on time. You want to eat 3 meals a day. You want to work out. You want to take that cold plunge. Whatever you guys want to do, we got to build it. We got to work on it. It's a process that requires developing. 21 days and you form a habit. And I want to make it simple for you. I want you to just get through 3 days of doing the habit that you want to build. Just 3 days. Personally, for me, I want to get through at least 3 days of texting somebody without having to not text them for 4 days in a row. Okay, that's a habit for me. Sometimes I'll text people and then I'll stop texting them for like a week and then I'll get back. For me, I want to establish the habit of texting someone for 3 days in a row. So then maybe I can form it into becoming a habit of checking in. Sometimes you guys can't form these habits. It's a hard thing to do. But that's why you kings and queens are watching this lesson plan. Forgive me, I'm doing a podcast too, so I'm just doing a whole bunch. But that's why you need to do it. You need to get 3 days in, at least. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you that tool, that technique to do it. And it starts with writing that habit down. So you already got it on your piece of paper, which is a great thing. But now I want you to place it near your bed. Every night you go to sleep, look at it. Every morning you wake up, look at it again. So you can program it into your subconscious mind. So then over time, you'll begin to consciously act upon it. You guys might not know, but in my house, I have things all around that help me grow. So on my wall, right next to my bed, I actually wrote on the walls, I hope they don't sue me for that, but I wrote on the walls the 4 pillars of wealth. So every single morning I wake up, I see it. I know exactly what I want to do. I know exactly my end goal. You see, I'm doing all this kingdom work, this stuff that I love to do. This is like my passion. I love helping you grow and teaching and developing. But at the end of the day, what I really want to do is I want to reap wealth. I want to start forming it for my kids, as well as I want to go to heaven. So there's a couple of things. But as long as I'm here, I actually want to leave something for my children. It says in the Proverbs, it says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So that's my goal while I'm here. Whether it be content, whether it be production, whether it be videos, whether it be money. I want to leave an inheritance with what I can. See, that's my end goal. So the habits that I form to do that require me putting in the work every day, require me getting up at 3:45, require me to stay physically healthy so I can live, so I can breathe, so I can mentally be aware. See, these are things that you guys can get into the habit of doing. But I also want to tell you, those habits are going to help you build every single area of your life. Relationships, business. When you can form these successful habits daily, day in, day out, you can apply them to every other aspect in your life. But you got to master something. I'm going to tell you right now, it takes about 10,000 hours to master a craft. So if you can work 10,000 hours at developing your habit, you're going to be a king at it. You're going to be a queen at the results that you're going to get from it. So the first thing first, you guys wrote them down, which is great. But now you got to apply them into a proper plan of action. Now, a plan of action isn't as hard as you might think. You might be looking at me like, Mac, how do I do this? How do I plan that action? Well, you come up with a practical goal. What is your daily goal? Each day I want to text 3 people. Each day I want to eat 3 meals. So all I want you to do is worry about the daily. Okay, you got the habits next to your bed. You got the things you want. But every day you also need to write it down again. You need to write down your daily goal. What is my goal for today? What is my goal for today? What is my goal for today? And then hold it on to you. If you have a piece of paper, write it down on a piece of paper and stick it in your back pocket as you go to work. So then when you're on your free time, you can look at your goal and ask yourself, did I complete it? Am I doing it? Am I getting closer to achieving that goal? And if you can do that, if you can program your mind to achieve goals, to take chances, to take risks, you'll be very successful further down the line. Very easy stuff to do, things that I had to do when I was sitting at home dealing with a pornography addiction, having dropped out of college. I didn't have goals. First thing I had to do was find a goal for myself. What did I want to do? I figured it out and I went at it daily. Okay, been doing this stuff for about 3 years because I've been working at it daily. See, each day I get better. Each day I get better. Each day I get better. When I first started making content, you couldn't have heard me. I was mumbling. I was quiet. Nobody was listening. Today, I make sure you hear, I make sure you know, and I make sure you go with the inspiration, the motivation, and the techniques to be the best you were destined to be. This takes time. It also took a plan of action. That means I had to work at it daily. I had to do something each day. So I need you guys to do something each and every day. Whatever it is. Early goals, early morning goals, afternoon goals, get them done. Write them down and pursue them. Now moving on. In order for us to be aware of our goals, we have to be aware of ourselves. And this brings me back to the basis of this lesson, which is self-awareness. Discovering character. Discovering character. Character is something that cannot be bought. It's the essence of who you are. The essence of who you are is your goals. The essence of who you are is your vision. The essence of who you are the things that you listen to, the things that you think about, the things that you are about, your faith, your beliefs, etc. This is your essence. This makes up your being. And when you can find that, you find who you are. And who you are defines the character in which you portray to society. Society will see you as good or bad. Society's very black and white. They look at people as good or bad. It's simple. Are you contributing or are you taking away? Are you adding or are you taking? When you become aware of who you are, you will have no other option but to give it. To give the world your fullest gift. It's only destined for you to do once you can figure this out. But it requires discovering it, discovering the potential, the beauty, the strength, the power. It's inevitable. We all want to give our gifts. We want to provide. We want to help. We want to offer service, advice, inspiration. Today actually, a lady came up to me and she was lost. So she was trying to figure out where to go. She was lost in her car. And she pulled up on me and she honked the horn. She was like, "Hey, help." I was surprised. I didn't know somebody was going to talk to me. Most of the time people don't talk to me. I'm in a all black tinted car, and sometimes I got my hoodie on. Sometimes I look a little intimidating, so people just kind of drive by, and that's how I like it, to be honest. But this lady, she was older white woman, and help, so I had to help her out. So I got out the car, and she was trying to figure out where to go. She was lost, directions, didn't know where she was at. So I told her, you just go down here, make the left, and boom, you're good. She was like, "I hope I don't get lost." I was like, "Hey, you'll be straight. You'll be good." So, sometimes you want to do that. I mean, that made my day. It made my day to be able to help somebody. You just want to be able to be of service. And I'll tell you, it says in the Bible, your gift will make room for you. I believe that 100%. Even if you're not doing content like this, even if you don't have the tools to make videos or get on Instagram or Facebook or even have the friends or the community or the backing, God will make a way for your gift. That's a fact. So regardless of the tools, the jewels, all the little cool things that come with it, you will find a way forward because God will make a way. He will. He just will. He will. But He wants to know if you're willing to do what's necessary to enhance it, to grow it, to portray it. Listening to me is the good step because I'm giving you guys the tools. I'm giving you guys the habits, the things you need to do to form it and to grow it, to be about it. But He's going to test you. God's going to figure out if you're really hungry enough, if you really want to achieve that goal, if you really want to express your gifts. It's not an easy journey, but it's a journey that's necessary because the things you learn along the way are going to help you when you get to where you want to be. I'm just telling you from experience. Every day is a journey. Every day is a test. Every day God's strengthening me by testing me, testing my morals, my values, if I'm dedicated to Him. You'll be tested along the way through situation, circumstance, flux, doubts, insecurities. There's going to be a lot of things that will force you to grow. A lot of things you will not be able to hide from. A lot of things you're going to have to go head on and attack. And I want you guys to be awesome at that. I want that to be your habit. To get into the habit of confrontation. To get into the habit of attacking goals. To get into the habit of owning your life. And that forms by listening, by doing, by being about it. I talk about net time. Right? I'm not going to get too deep, but I want to talk about the time that you spend doing tedious tasks. Like when you have to clean the house, when you have to drive to work. In this period of net time, you need to be tuned into content that will help you develop your habits, that will help you get up early, that will help you achieve your goal. Whether that be motivation, inspiration, maybe it's a podcast that you tune into that gives you the knowledge on building wealth or establishing business. But whatever you want to do, you got to get into the habit of using your net time to be beneficial time. I have a podcast called The Advocate. If you guys are tuning in on any social media, Spotify or anything like that, you can type in The Advocate and you will see it there. Currently, you can see it on Facebook at McKinley Bird, and you'll see it right on the page. But I'm talking a lot about wealth building. So if you guys have the time, you can tune into a podcast and it'll keep you geared to what you're doing. So I'm not saying you got to go out your way. I'm saying just, you got headphones, plug it in when you're at the gym and just listen to some techniques that you can establish. Maybe you're driving the kids off to school and just tune in on the podcast and listen to something. When I was 6 years old, 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, one of those ages as a kid, my dad would drive us to school. He would drop us off down in Maryland. We used to live down in D.C., and my sister would go to all-girls school. I would go to public school. And I would hang out in the car while my dad would drop my sister off, then he would drop me off. And what we would always listen to the Steve Harvey morning show. So when I was 8 years old, I was always listening to Steve Harvey every single morning. And every single morning, Steve would always say, you got a vision, you got a goal, you got to go after it. You got potential, you can do it. Every single morning, Steve would always be telling me that, and I would always take it personal. And I'd always think that he was talking directly to me. So I give a shout out to Steve Harvey because his message inspired me. His message motivated me. His message actually wanted me to find a relationship with God, because he would always talk about God, and I didn't know God like him, but I wanted to get to know God. I was only 8 years old, but I liked what he was talking about and where he was coming from. But that was net time. The time from going to school to the job is net time. And you need to use that net time to be benefiting your habits, to be establishing good habits. Every single morning I listen to Steve. No wonder why I'm the guy I am today. Because when I was 8 years old, I was listening to that content. I was listening to motivation. I was listening to you can go after your goals. I was hearing that out. And I was doing something about it. I knew I was capable of a lot. I knew my value at a young age. And so that's why I want to help kids and people like you who may not know it to find it and to do something with it. I'm telling you right now, there will be a time when the gift in you will be of service and will definitely have a need for it. That time's right now. That's why I need you guys to hear this out, right? Character. Character is the basis. It's the essence of your being. The essence of who you naturally and fulfill, who you really represent. Okay? You discovering the essence of your being allows the character that society sees of you to represent the best of you. Okay? If I'm not staying true to my essence and my being, I'm not staying true to who I am and who society sees me to be. Either a provider or a taker. There's two people that society deems you as, either a provider or a taker, somebody giving or someone taking from. You are all givers. You all have something to give. We all provide. Let's give the world what God's given us. Alright guys, so right now I want to talk about the benefits of forming these habits, the results that you're going to get as well. Now I like to talk about the benefits and results because a lot of you guys are like, okay, I got it. I got the routine. I've got the habit. I got the goals. But what are they going to show me? What's going to come out of it? Is anything going to come from this? Because it takes a lot of time to work on your goals, to work on building habits, to not get anything from it. I want to tell you, I've gotten a lot from it. I've gotten the ability to go after things, the ability to take more action, the ability to understand who I am, the essence of my being, and I can give that to the world now. But it started with having to produce good habits. I remember, honestly, 3 or 4 years ago, stuck in the house with my parents, dealing with a pornography addiction, dropped out of high school, not high school, college, and just not really figuring out what I was going to do. Until one day I snapped out. I said, I need to get myself on my feet. I need to do something. I need to get motivated. I need to start doing something. So I started filming. I had a camera. I took that camera around. I started carrying it to the beach. I started carrying it down the street. I started talking. And I started making videos. My concept was, if I want to motivate myself, I also want to motivate people along the way. I said, look, if I want to grow, I don't want to just take all these gems that I'm going to learn. I want to share along the journey. I want to document it. So I started doing vlogs. I started doing YouTube. I started finding people that I wanted to emulate. I saw Gary Vaynerchuk, Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins. I said, wow, I want to be just like these guys. And guess what? I'm doing it. It took time, but it took me to establish habits. Habits that can form in 21 days. Didn't take too long, but it took long enough to say, this is it. This is go time. And I'm going to tell you, it's been go time since that time. I haven't stopped since. I've been going since 3 years ago. So you guys can do the same thing. You just want to decide. You see, it doesn't take a lifetime to figure out what you want to do. It takes a moment Doesn't take a couple, it takes a moment. You honestly, one moment to decide, to say today is the day, now is enough. This is the time. One moment. Not a year, not 2 years, not 5 years. Maybe it took you 5 years to get to the time where you decided, but in that moment is when you decide. So let today be the moment. Let this be the moment where you decide that I'm going to change my life. I'm going to switch things around. I'm going to form new, good, powerful habits. Let now be the time. This is your moment for progression and success, but you need to decide and make it so. This needs to be your go time. If it's not now, it's never. A lot of you guys like, well, is it really now or never? Yes. Because if you delay it now, you're delaying it forever. You're delaying it tomorrow. You're delaying. I know how it goes. I used to talk to awesome people who tell me, you know, yeah, I'm going to do this for you today. Didn't happen. I'm going to do this for you tomorrow. Didn't happen. Push it back, push it back, push it back. Never happened. You can't do that to yourself. You deserve better. You're worthy of it. So you got to own up to it. I want you guys to be great at whatever you do. So right now, I want you to understand what you're going to gain from your habits being formed great. You're going to gain a lot of success with who you are, who you see yourself to be. Okay? A lot of the time you look in that mirror and you say, man, I'm a fool. Sometimes I look in that mirror and I say, well, I need to do a lot better. But sometimes I'll be hard on myself to the point where I'm not thanking God for who He's created, what He's doing through me, right? I want you to look in that mirror and say, God made a king and a queen. He made me amazing, right? He made me who I am so that I can do what He wants me to do in the lives of others. But the way you get to that moment is when you decide, I'm going to accept who I am. I'm going to accept the things I don't like and the things I do like. I'm going to embrace my fullness, whether that be the things I'm not good at, the things I'm great at. I'm going to embrace the person that I am currently. Good, bad, ugly, or in between. I'm going to embrace all these qualities. I'm going to own it. And then I'm going to use these things to better my life and other lives along the journey. You can do it just like I've been able to. It's not too hard. It's hard at first because you're doing it by yourself. You're alone in the process. You think it's just you. You think you're the only one, but you're not. There are millions of people who want to make a change, who want to grow, who want to better who they are, but you just don't always see them. They're out there and they're just like you. They're part of this community as well, actually. It's called the MB Academy, which you're a part of. But if you want to be even more part of it, you can just message me and I'd love to get you on some awesome forums and topics that will really get you guys thinking. Okay, so right now, the results you're going to get, I'm telling you, the results are immediate. The thing about establishing good habits is every day you work on that habit, you're growing. Whether you fail at the habit, whether you succeed at the habit, you're growing, you're getting better, you're discovering more of who you really are. The essence of discovering your character is the essence of growing, pushing the limits of your awareness. And when you can grow, do that goal, get that thing complete, figure it out. Every step of that way, you're discovering what you're able to do and what you're not able to do. Sometimes by figuring out what you're not good at, you can figure out what you're really good at. I love the military because it pushes my character. It pushes me to do things that I didn't think I was able. I was on Fort Leonard, Missouri. Actually, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. And out there, I was out with the inmates. You know how they have the inmates in the jail. And so I was at the pods, and I was in the pods doing my job with a whole bunch of inmates that have been locked up. Some 5 years, some 10 years, some just got in. And I'm new to the whole area, but I'm checking the cells, I'm communicating. You know, at first I didn't think I could go to a prison. I was like, me back in a jail? Oh no, this is gonna be funny. But I didn't go in as an inmate. I went in as a guard because I'm qualified. That's my job as a police officer in the military. That's my job. And so even though I was trained in the job, I didn't think I'd actually be in a situation where I'd really be in need of it. So it was good. It was a good opportunity to be out there. And I got this experience and this perspective that I didn't get on a daily basis. You know, a lot of the time people think inmates aren't people. It's crazy to think that. They're just as much as a person as you. A lot of people say, oh, wow, how was it? You're scared? Are they going to kill you? Yeah, they're just people. All of us make mistakes in life. All of us. Just a few of us get caught. Okay? It's just the truth. We all mess up, but just a few of us get caught. And there's been a lot of situations where I could have been put in, just gonna leave it at that. There's been a lot of situations, but you know, God does good work. That's all I can say. Good work. And I'm learning along this journey too. But I need you guys to understand. When I was there, I realized that the difference between me and them was nothing. We're all people. We all have habits. We all have good habits. We all have bad habits. We all can grow. We all can change our perspective. Now, we might not always be able to change the situations we're in, but we can change how we react to them. See, sometimes I got to go to a training. Like, for instance, I have a training coming up for the military. I'll be gone for a while. Now, this training was unexpected to me. I didn't really plan on it, didn't know it was coming up. And boom, it's in front of my face and I gotta handle it. I could be very depressed. I could be very down. I could be very low. And I could say, I don't want to create content. I don't want to give videos. I don't want to do what I can do. But because I look at it differently, I say, oh, wow, you know what? I'm going to see this as an opportunity to get some more insight. I'm going to use that training as an opportunity to grow. I'm actually going to use it as an opportunity to relax, to get off of social media for a little bit, to replenish my ideas, to write goals down, to plan ahead, and to make some money. It's how you look at the situation. Some of us aren't looking at our situations of how they can benefit us, but a lot of us were looking at the situation and how it's taking from us. And that's a good thing to be aware of. Self-awareness will help you understand what's being taken from you and what's being given to you. And if there's more being taken than given, might not be in a good situation. I learned this from doing jobs that weren't treating me or paying me right. Worked at a door-to-door sales company for about 3 years, different companies. And the first one, you know, probably the third one I worked at, taking money from me. $250, they didn't pay me. Stuff like this, very sneaky, very, very manipulative. I didn't negotiate correct. So when I didn't negotiate right, I realized everyone else was getting paid more. I was like, that was weird. My last day, I left the company. The guy came, last day at that company I left. I took my last paycheck and I was going to go cash it at the bank. And the guy that got me on board, he ran to me at the bank, chased us down to the bank, got in his car. Me and a couple other guys were leaving the company at the same time. He got in his car, chased us down, about to cash my check into the bank, and he comes running up to the bank. We have a big altercation right in front of the bank. No, you can't take that money. This guy was crazy. You know what I did? I just gave him my check. It's because I didn't know my worth. I didn't know my value at the time. I was very young, very naive, and I thought that this guy cared about me. But instead, he cared about his money more than my well-being. I knew he was taking advantage, but I didn't see it very well. I got into another company after that, and I realized when I was doing sales, other people were collecting the money that I was supposed to make. And I didn't do anything about it because I wasn't aware of it. Until I got a little bit older, I began to reflect and learn, understand my value, my worth, my essence. Now I'm aware of these things. I can see them, and I won't tolerate them. Because guess what? You get what you tolerate. something you guys don't understand, but if you tolerate with mediocre, tolerate with bad habits, you're going to get them. You're going to get the results of bad habits because you tolerate yourself having them. I don't tolerate putting up with conversations that don't last more than 5 to 10 minutes. If I'm talking to somebody on the phone and they're not investing anything into the conversation, I don't put up with it. I don't put up with it because that's not what I tolerate. I like to talk to people who have something to bring, have something to bring to the table. It says the person you hang around with for no reason, you will become the average of. So don't hang around people that don't bring anything to the table. It's very dangerous to do that. Very dangerous. It's a danger zone. You don't want to do that. You hang around somebody that doesn't bring anything, doesn't give value, doesn't bring an essence to you, doesn't help or empower your mission, your goals. You have to leave them. That's a fact. It could be your best friend, it could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be your cousin, it could be your uncle, whoever it is, you gotta let them go. I'm talking about really changing your life, and to change your life, you need to change your mind into what you tolerate. If I put up with the mediocre habits that I have, then that means I'm accepting mediocre results. That means I'm accepting, not respecting who I am, myself, and I also will be putting up with people disrespecting me. People who respect themselves also get respect. But if you can't respect who you are, you won't get it. It's a fact of nature. We look up to those that deeply have a value, deeply understand their worth, because that something about that person represents confidence, power, and dominion. One of the most primal statures of our nature is power. We can witness it from a mile away. And a lot of it just comes in your being, your essence, and the way you carry yourself, the way you walk, talk, act, etc. We look up to somebody like that because we feel that that person has the ability to protect us or to give us something. I see it all the time. There's a lot of great people I know who have that essence to them. They speak boldly. They carry themselves well. Powerful guys. And I like being around them because I want some of that to sprinkle on me. So I like to hang around power. So I can be just kind of average it out and I'll just be the middle of it. But it's about who you associate with, who you listen to, who you put into your mind, your ear, your essence. You guys are doing a great job listening to this. I want you guys to continue to establish habits, mindset shift, and truly discovering the essence of your being, the essence of your character, and the essence of your projecting of your character to the world. Remember, you're a giver, not a taker. You have value in you to provide. Let's go.